Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science here in New York City. Welcome to everyone signing in on the Zoom right now. Welcome to those of you who have been here for a while at our meditation. And for those of you in our studio audience, those of us joining us physically here in New York City. And I also want to send out a hello and a welcome to everyone watching throughout the day, this weekend, and through the week on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, X, and YouTube. Again, we gather here on Sunday mornings as we're speaking now, also Wednesday evening. Jimmy does a creative living series, same Zoom links as this. And every Thursday, I facilitate the Louise self-healing class, which has been going on for many, many years. So tune in whenever you can. All of our gatherings are offered free of charge. And some of you do write in or ask how you can support our work. And you'll notice in the chat room on your screen, the technicians always float the options there for you to support the work we do if you're able to. We are deeply grateful always for anything anyone can do. But the most important thing is to remember to be here to benefit from the lesson. Everyone benefits from your presence. Today's message is going to be another New Thought lesson, and it's entitled, Yours is the Earth. And I've got a little bit of poetry here from Rumi and a little bit of a poem from Kipling entitled If, that were my primary inspiration today. So, yours is the earth. This is a message about personal mastery. It was inspired by Kipling and Rumi, as I said. Rudyard Kipling wrote a timeless poem, which I knew of, but I had to look up, entitled If. It's a message about personal mastery. It's about standing steady in the face of life's challenges. And I thought of it because the whole world is going through a lot of changes right now in every quarter. So I looked up this wonderful poem. So no matter what is happening around us, whether it's triumph or it's disaster, we have the power to rebuild. We have the power always to reimagine. And we have the power to respond to whatever is happening with grace. So before we get into this wonderful lesson, let's begin a short reading that will prepare our hearts and our minds for today's message. My reading from Rumi is called The Guest House. The Guest House. And here it starts. This being that we are is a guest house. Every morning there's a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor to us. Welcome, welcome, and entertain them all, said Rumi. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows, even if it's a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your home and empty you of furniture, still treat each guest honorably. They might be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them all at the door, laughing. Invite them all in. Be grateful for whoever comes today, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So let me break that down a little bit for you, because as I read it, I realized, oh, how wonderful. And I read it a couple times to myself. The guest house, I want to explore the wisdom of Rumi's The Guest House. His poem invites us to think deeply about how we respond to life's experiences. Each thing he calls them visitors, whether they're joyful visitors or sorrowful visitors, they come to us for a reason. Some arrive to teach us, others to make room for new blessings, even if at first their arrival feels uncomfortable at best. So this message in this wonderful poem is that we don't need to control who or what shows up in our lives. What matters is how we meet these visitors, whether we greet them with resistance or with grace. When we resist, we suffer. But when our hearts are open and we're trusting the process of life, when we're at a place where we're welcoming even the difficult moments, the difficult people, we grow, we heal, we evolve, and we step into the flow of life. Rumi's poem is a perfect setup for today's lesson. I invite you all to go to it and contemplate it. It reminds us, this particular poem, that life will bring us many visitors, some very welcome, others very unexpected. But the true measure of mastery and self-mastery, which is what we're all about here, is how we meet the new moments, the new visitors. Whether life offers us triumph or disaster, whether life brings us ease or struggle, we always have the power to choose how we respond. Week after week, you'll hear me say the point of power is in the present moment. So again, from Rumi's wonderful poem, whether life offers us triumph or disaster, ease or struggle, we always have the power to choose our response. It is up to us. The point of power is always in the present moment, said Louise, and this is where Kipling's message, Rudyard Kipling's message comes in his wonderful poem entitled If. His poem reminds us that the key to a lifetime of fulfillment lies in staying centered through every experience. Yes, this reminds me of a lot of advice that I've given and I've been told about religious science over the years and the Louise Hay groups. It's the people who stay with it, who stay the course, that ultimately succeed. Many people have told me over the years they read Louise Hay, they studied Louise Hay for time, and they put the book on the shelf. And the same is true with religious science. They took a course or two. I've had students who told me I took 3 years of courses 17 years ago, and then they stop and they forget. So we have a problem, we forget. So if we want to have this teaching really work for us, we want to stay the course. So in this poem, Rudyard Kipling is saying that the key to fulfillment in life, uh, what's required of us is just doing our best to stay connected, to stay centered through every experience. And we realize in the teaching that we live in this substance, we move in it, we have our being in it, and always attempt to bring ourselves back to that reality. He goes on to say in the poem, triumph and disaster will come and go. They absolutely will come and go. They always come and go. But we remain constant. If you can stay in connection, remember your connection, keep bringing yourself back. That's why I always recommend, doing your affirmative prayers early, late, and often, taking the pauses, showing up for every class you can, because it's a great place for us to remind ourselves. So triumph and disaster will come and go, according to Rudyard Kipling. But we who are awake remain constant. We are connected to spirit. We realize in this teaching we're one with the one. We're one with the source of power, the source of creativity. So this connection we have with source will always guide us. It will woo us. It will guide us. It will allow us to navigate whatever life brings to us with grace and great wisdom. So we have guidance, and we will always have it if we stay connected to it, if we consciously invite spirit in. Our theme today, again, is yours. Yours is the earth. And it is, as long as you can maintain your connection and remember. So, again, this talk was largely inspired by this poem I remember called If. Kipling undoubtedly was inspired by the Psalms, which tell us the heavens and the earth move through you. Yes, all that you see and all that you experience flows from the power of your thoughts, the powers of your thoughts and creations. In other words, you're the author of your experience. You're the captain of your ship. You're Shakespeare. You are the person who's writing the script. And I oftentimes say, and the final chapter has not been written for any of us. So this lesson explores what it means to claim your self-mastery, to have self-mastery, to claim our mastery over our own lives. And to do that, we want to stay steady. We want to be confident. We want to be confident to know that we always can be in a new day, in a new moment, where we can reinvent ourselves or we can rebuild as needed. We intend to walk in our life, those of us who are really committed to the teaching, we intend to walk the path of peace no matter what. So that's the affirmative approach. We talk about living the affirmative life. Louise Hay would talk about taking the positive approach. That means we stay at it. We stay connected. We stay in connection with Source. We keep on challenging ourselves to remember that connection we have. And I'm here to tell you it's not always easy. I had a week, or the past couple of weeks, there have been some things that happened. I thought, boy, this is sometimes difficult. There's at times where we just need to let go. There's at times where, in our lives, people are doing all kinds of things and we need to turn the other cheek rather than retaliate. Ernest Holmes teaches us we are the creators of our experience. It's as simple as that. We're responsible for our experience. We are the creators of our experience. We get to choose. We get to live intentionally. We get to act intelligently rather than react. There's a 12-step program. They're in a 12-step program some 40 years ago. I heard a simple saying, act, don't react. Act, don't react. And that's really what we're asking of our audience today is to remember, we live, we move, we have our being in this divine activity. We have all the power in the world behind us. And what we are called to do is to take a pause and remember who you are and what you are and the power that's available to you. And if we take that pause, we're apt to react. No, we are apt to act intelligently rather than react. Again, we are one with this one creative energy, this one creative intelligence and power. It is always available to us and it's always, always responding to us in every moment. So there's a passage in this wonderful poem where Kipling advises us to keep our heads. No matter what, keep your head. His message is about responding, not reacting. The phrase in his poem is he's challenging us to keep our head when all about you are losing theirs. Again, if you can keep your head when everyone about you is losing their heads, um, you're doing well. When I read this, I couldn't help but think, this is exactly what religious science practitioners are called to do, to see the good in the God, to practice the presence, to keep our heads when everything and everyone around us is, seems to be losing their heads or their minds. So in this teaching, we're called to focus on the truth and to remember our connection with Source. With this memory, when we go within and we know that there's deep within us, there's this infinite well of love, light, and power, and we're one with this energy. When we have this consciousness, we remember that everyone else is a part of it. So as we practice this teaching, we remain grounded in spirit. When we remember that we're always, always supplied and supported and one with this one energy, then most of the things that are bothering the world won't bother us in the same way. We will have concern, we will care, but we are always going to come back to this knowledge, a spiritual knowledge that we're infinitely supported and always supplied. So we're more likely to keep our heads. We're more likely to keep our sense of peace when others around us are losing their heads and losing their peace. I can remember in just the past 2 weeks, there's been 2 or 3 occurrences. One person called us completely upset, making a lot of very unreasonable demands that didn't have much to do with us at all. And it was obvious that that individual was upset, and I happen to know they've been going through a very tough time about circumstances, in their lives and their families. And we've tried to support this person. We try to support anyone really who calls us. And it didn't have a lot to do with us. And I attempted, as I always do with students, to point them towards the teaching. In other words, I would say something like, you could see peace instead of this. This is a perfect time to know that all is well. And I'm reminded of another student that I've spoken of as an example different times, who made a transition a long time ago. And the response is a version of what I've always heard when people are up against it and you tell them, listen, all is well. They'll want to say, get real. I'm not going to buy any of this stuff. So here's the thing. It's really easy to practice our teaching when your life is going well. It's easy to practice the teaching when you don't feel challenged financially or when your health is good. But there's going to be times when everything isn't working smoothly, when you're experiencing a bump, and that's when it's even more important to be practicing the teaching, to tell yourself, I am whole, I'm complete, to tell yourself, whatever is happening, this is God in my life and all is well. It's really important when you're having those kind of days to tell yourself the truth, to tell yourself that you are an individualization of this God life, that you're a son or a daughter of it, that the kingdom is at hand. However you want to language it, it's important that you have that inner dialogue so you can make that shift right back to connection. Because if you're lashing out at other people, you've lost it. At least you've lost it for a moment in time. And eventually you will remember. Uh, so in these types of conversations, I will get some version of, I'm not having any of this, or get real, or whatever it would be. And when people in your life do that or they lash out, and I think we've all been there before, maybe we've lashed out ourselves, um, but we want to bring ourselves as quickly as we can back to the center where we have a moment of calm, where we have a moment of stillness, so we can restore ourselves. So when we pause and we remember that when there's difficult situations going on in the world or in politics or the weather or whatever it is, whatever is going on, people are doing the best they can with what they have. We don't take things personally. It helps us understand where we are in the world. Um, when I was younger, there was an old Irish expression. My family's Irish, and it used to be, is this a private fight or can anybody join in? It was funny, but it's not funny. Um, at this point, most of us are working a spiritual program, and we release the need to be involved in all of that stuff. We can see that people are in pain. We can see some people are very miserable. And when they're acting out or lashing out, that doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be about you. So let's take a moment and reflect. Where do you think you are right now in your life? Are you reactive? Do you find yourself being pulled into situations where you are losing your cool, or you're reacting to people, places, and things? Another question for you to think about. What are you allowing into your mind each day? Are you being bombarded with every kind of negative story, news, and all the troubling things? Are you absorbing too much of it? Or are you participating in conversations that leave you feeling depleted? See, I must be the guardian at the gate. You can take on just as much as you want, but ultimately we must be the guardian at the gate. Are you letting someone continually criticize you or in any way put you down? Or are you the person who's being critical of yourself? Are you doing what Louise Hay would talk about, always being critical of self, feeling like you're not enough or you don't do enough? See, what we do in this teaching ultimately is we learn to stop all that. I invoke Diana Ross. Stop in the name of love. Whenever you find yourself going to that place of negativity toward yourself or others, we try to interrupt those conversations as soon as we can. One of my old students, a British lady, Joyce, used to say, next, 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 with her beautiful British accent, whenever she found herself talking negatively about herself or others. And we can learn from her. We want to learn to take that pause, take a breath. So that's a good idea. Let's do it together. Let's take a breath together. Let's breathe in deeply. And as we exhale, feel ourselves relaxing, all that tension, anything that we're holding on to, any concern. Let's together all breathe in calm and exhale discomfort or fear. Let's breathe in peace, wonderful peace. And let's exhale frustration. And I want you to affirm with me, I keep my head no matter the storm. Again, I keep my head no matter the storm. Followed by, I choose peace and I reclaim my power. I choose peace and I reclaim my power. Again, from Kipling, triumph and disaster will come and it will go. Again, triumph and disaster will come and go. But when we stay connected, we remain constant. We remain constant no matter what's the turbulence in the outer world. We are connected to spirit. We are one with the one source of peace, power, and creativity. And that particular connection, will woo us, it'll guide us, it will allow us to navigate whatever life brings to us. And it will allow us to do so with grace and wisdom. Our theme for today again is yours. Yours is the earth. Remember, every thought you think is creating your experience. You have the ability to have dominion over your own life. We are the authors of our own experience, our lives. And Ernest Holmes reminds us, we are the creators of our own experience. That creative power is always available to us in every single moment, if we can remember. In the poem If by Kipling, he helps us understand that both triumph and disasters are somewhat of imposters. Again, he'll suggest that the triumphs we have and the disasters that we have are somewhat imposters. And I thought that was an interesting passage. He wanted us to think about the idea of meeting triumph and disaster as normal parts of life. And his suggestion was that we treat these so-called imposters the same. It's logical if you think about it for a moment. Life is going to bring you moments of exuberance and success. And life is also going to bring us, through no fault of our own, setbacks. Some days we see demonstrations of spirit everywhere. You think, oh my God, my life has so much synchronicity. I see joy all around me, and things fall into place beautifully, miraculously, and we're very grateful. Life feels like it's totally working for us. Other days, things seem like everything is falling completely apart. I know you've had days like that. Plans don't work out, setbacks arrive, people don't show up. It seems like everything is going awry, moving against us. What Kipling asks us in this wonderful poem is to see both of these as fleeting experiences. Mostly, he was wanting us to understand that neither triumph or disaster define you. We are all, each and every one of us, magnificent spiritual beings, and all of us are works, great works in progress. Life is reflecting always our consciousness, and that's neither good or bad. It's just the way it works. Life is reflecting our consciousness, and there's always more work for us to do. I'm not a finished product. I might have been working with this teaching for a long time, as many of you have been, but there's always more to learn, and we're always growing and evolving. Ernest Holmes says, circumstances are not what matters. What matters is the consciousness that we bring to them. So it doesn't matter what's going on. It really doesn't. What matters is the consciousness that we bear. It matters how what that inner dialogue is about, how we see things. I've told you so many times this class, Edwina Gaines taught me an important lesson. I'm here to see the good in the God. That's the metaphysical approach. We're here to see the good. That's what we're here to do. So you might think, I'll give you an example, another exercise. Think of a recent win. Maybe where you accomplished something great. You achieved a goal. You fixed a relationship. That's really wonderful when that happens. Or you did not react to some situation like you might have before. Or maybe you completed something that was important to you, something that you've been working at. Think how wonderful that felt. Think how everything seemed to align perfectly. And that really is nice. Now I'd like you to think of a setback in your life, maybe recently, maybe a few years ago, a time of great disappointment, a personal loss, or so it seemed, or a conflict that left you feeling upset, possibly even devastated. Maybe it's a time where you lost your cool completely, you lost your head, you reacted, you felt embarrassed, because these things happen. Uh, Perhaps it was a difficult conversation, could have been a financial setback, or a time when things just didn't work out or didn't work your way. Both of these moments, if we're going to learn from Kipling, uh, the moments of great triumph and the moments of great disaster have now passed. I just had you bring them to mind. But the thing is, both of them they're gone. They're gone, gone, gone. You let them go. Or if you haven't, I'd like you to think, as you think of them now, please release them. But you let them go. So say to yourself, yesterday's triumphs and yesterday's disasters are gone. Yes, yesterday's triumphs and yesterday's disasters are gone. But you remain. Here's the thing to understand. The point of power is here and now. And all the things we've been through, all the great successes, all the things that were troubling, which have been learning experiences for us, they're all over with. But you remain in this moment, alive and awake. Powerful you remain. Mastery begins by staying steady through it all, and knowing that your worth is not tied to any of the failures of the past or even the successes, or whether you performed perfectly or you did not. Our connection with spirit is constant. It always stays the same, regardless of what has happened to us, what is happening around us. I've told you, or I've shared with you in lots of lessons, that everything that happens in life is happening for you, for your learning, for your expansion, for your growth. So it's all happening for us. We've explored today how both triumph and disaster are part of life's rhythm. But neither of these, our triumphs or the disasters that we might have experienced, define us. The true mastery is how we meet life moment by moment. Each and every moment, there's an opportunity. Kipling reminds us that by staying steady, very steady, by keeping our heads while others may lose theirs, is the mark of personal mastery, the mark of personal power. This practice that we talk about, living the affirmative life, invites us to anchor ourselves in spirit, knowing that we're always a center of its activity, and therefore we're guided and we're supplied if we'll only open ourselves up to it. No matter what any moment brings, we get to choose how to respond. And that's where our mastery lies, in our pause. There's power in the pause. When we pause, when we breathe, when we allow ourselves to consciously reconnect with spirit, we reclaim our peace. Here's a question for you to reflect on. Where, right now in your life, can you create more pause in your life? Is there a conversation, perhaps, that you could slow down, or a relationship where it might help to take a pause or two? Or is there a situation that seems to be pulling you into a place of reaction? Think of the parts of your life or the places in your life where taking a pause could be very, very helpful. So breathe with me now. Let's inhale into these situations calm. Yes, inhale calm. And let's exhale all the frustration. Once again, anything that comes to mind, any place, be it a conversation, a relationship, or a situation that seems to be getting the better of you, could be politics, could be anything that's causing you to react. So let's think of it, and let's inhale now calmness, peace, and let's exhale all the frustration, any frustration. Once again, inhale peace, and let's exhale tension. Affirm with me, I keep my head no matter the storm. I choose peace, and I reclaim my personal power. Again, I keep my head no matter the storm, no matter what's going on. I choose peace, and I reclaim my power, my personal power. As life moves through its challenges, whether political discord, personal loss, or unexpected world events, weather, as life moves through all of its things, we remember that Spirit flows through us, that we're one with Spirit. In this knowledge, we rebuild step by step. We rebuild with grace, with dignity. Even when life feels at its most chaotic, we can trust that each step forward brings us closer to wholeness. And it's not about getting it perfect. So please understand it. It's about progress, one moment at a time, one day at a time. Louise Hay reminds us, by the way, even in our brokenness, we are whole. Every day offers a new beginning. That's a beautiful idea. Even in our brokenness, even when things don't seem right, we are whole. Every single day, every single moment offers a new beginning if we'll only take it. Take a moment to reflect with me now, thinking about what might need to be rebuilt in your life. This is a moment to think about what we might rebuild. Maybe it's a relationship in your family or a friend, or could be your marriage. Maybe it's some personal goals that need to be looked at again, or a part of yourself that feels unfinished. Whatever it is that you think needs some attention, some building or rebuilding, whatever it is, Spirit offers you tools. And you can imagine what the tools of Spirit would be. Patience. When you're connecting with Spirit, you come to a place of patience, a place of resilience, and a place of grace. So we center ourselves in Spirit, and we have patience, we have resilience, we have grace. And with all of that, we have the ability to begin again, even if it's a small step forward in a new moment. I have a little process for you now to help you rebuild with Spirit. So let's all of us take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale deeply again. Exhale gently, releasing anything that doesn't work well for you anymore, any grievance, anything that just doesn't serve you. Let's gently bring our minds into an area of our life that needs some attention, some love, some healing, some renewal. Hold this idea, this area in your heart. Hold this situation in your heart without judgment, just the way it is. Sense Spirit all around you, maybe standing beside you, offering you everything you could possibly ever need. Sense Spirit is here, offering you strength, creativity, and clarity. Now see yourself taking the first step toward rebuilding. Doesn't matter what it is that you're rebuilding. See yourself making that step. And that step doesn't have to be perfect. Just one small step, some kind of effort. So let's together inhale trust. Let's exhale any doubts. Inhale trust. Exhale any doubts. Inhale now peace. Yes, peace. And let's exhale fear. Know with every breath you take in, Spirit is flowing through you, guiding your way. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back to this moment, this present moment, knowing that you are exactly now where you need to be. Each step you take, no matter how small, is part of your journey towards mastery. So let's affirm together, I rise again. Yes, I rise again, and Spirit flows through me, and I rebuild with grace. Let's take one last breath, feeling the peace in this moment. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes and return to the space around you. So let's now wrap up this morning because we're going to have a time for personal sharing, knowing in affirmative prayer that there is one power, there's one presence moving through all of creation, and I am one with that power. In triumph and in challenge, I stand steady, knowing that Spirit flows through me and guides my way always. Today, I choose peace. I rebuild with grace, step by step. The earth and everything in it is mine to claim, and I trust the process is unfolding before me. I walk forward in faith, knowing in each and every moment, every step is guided by divine wisdom. And so it is. Thank you. Now, we're going to be turning the call over to you. So we look forward to hearing from every one of you. Thank you.